Hi, hello, it is your least favorite Drag Race content creator, Jer, here for the final installment of the rejudging reshuffled All-Stars cast. I recast every single season to make them more balanced. If this is your very first video and you're very confused on what's going on, go back to the top of this playlist, watch it from the start, it'll all make sense later. We are tackling All-Stars 9 in this video, and I'm gonna be so real with all of you. This is my least favorite All-Stars season. I really did not like All-Stars 8, but I liked this one even less. It just felt so inconsequential. It lacked a lot of gravitas. So I'm gonna be skimming this one pretty heavily. I am judging this based off of my own tastes. Since there are no eliminations this season, I will be choosing a top 2. I will not be speculating who I think the queens would block. I'm just gonna award out the wins and let it be that. Let me know in the comments at the end who you think would make it all the way to the end from this format. I'm pretty sure I've got a good idea. And without any further stalling, let's get into it. So the theme of All-Stars 9 for this recasting is charisma first, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. I am looking for people that are confessional queens. I'm looking for queens that have so much personality that it oozes out of them. And we did buff out this season just a little bit from its original casting. I think producer picks that would get a favorable run and get pushed to the end would obviously be Jimbo, probably Alyssa and Roxy, with Mick being a favorite during the first half and then being abandoned in the second half in favor of queens like Jimbo and Roxy. Episode 1 is Drag Queen Save the World, an incredible concept that I don't really think went anywhere. My top 2 queens of the week are Heidi and Angeria. They're both it to me, and Angeria did great in the original episode, and I think that Heidi would really pull through and pull to the front. Episode 2 is the paintball. I told y'all this was going to be a speed run. The paintball winners are obviously Gottmik for having one of the best ball packages of all time for that particular runway, and I think that Jimbo would pull out something really artistic and creative for the other 2 categories, and Jimbo knows how to construct a look pretty well. Also, I do have to say, I almost did not include Jimbo in the reshuffling, but I didn't want anyone to yell at me, and so I put her here. Episode 3 is Snatch Game of Love, and as I've mentioned before, I hate the of love tagline. The winners for me were Angeria. I thought she was so funny in that challenge, and Nina was hilarious as Liberace. I know a lot of people live, laugh, love Jimbo's Snatch Game performance, but it made me uncomfortable and I didn't like it. And I don't know if anybody else would pull to the front strong enough to beat out what I thought were incredible performances from Angeria and Nina. As a editor's note, in this episode, the top 2 got badges to give away. I see Angeria choosing to give her badge to Latrice, and I think that Nina would pick Roxy again. That'll make sense later. Episode 4 is Smokin' Hot Firefighter Makeovers. I don't think we really needed to do team makeovers, but I understand why we did it. The team that I see working together that I would put in the top 2 would be Roxy and Akira. I think they've got a really great brand. Being booty queens, I think that they would turn out something really incredible and sexy. Episode 5 is Property Queens. I thought it was so disrespectful that they used a green screen for All-Stars, and I wish that someone would just increase the budget so that they could have practical sets. I mean, Canada versus the world got a practical set for the whole, and you're telling me that they couldn't put some money to give them practical sets? Come on. The top 2 that I think would dominate this week are Latrice, because she's a really incredible actress, and I think she would probably work with Akira and take a second win. Episode 6 is a National Drag Convention roast. The winner of this mini challenge received a badge, but that's pretty inconsequential and it could go to anyone. I really don't know who to award this to since it was sort of luck based, so I'm not even going to play with it, and that badge is out of play. While she might not be my cup of humor tea, I do believe that Jimbo would do pretty well in this challenge, especially considering that we have Alyssa here who's not really great at comedy challenges. We've got Heidi, who I don't really think would do well either. Even though Candy won her comedy challenge in season 13, I thought that win should have gone to Rosé. And I think Latrice is funny, and I think she would be able to roast for sure. I just don't know if it would be as funny as Jimbo and Angeria. Episode 7 is Meeting in the Ladies' Room. This is one that I went back and forth on for a really long time. I think that Latrice understands a lot of the references that RuPaul likes to use, and I think Ru would really love her, but ultimately I think that Alyssa would be able to step into that sort of dynasty thing a little bit better. And Jimbo is a favorite of RuPaul and would make her laugh the hardest. Even though this is my preference, I really don't want to upset the Jimbo stans because y'all are fucking insane. You're crazier than Swifties. So I am begrudgingly giving this win to Jimbo, even though I really want to give it to Latrice. Next is episode 8, Make Your Own Kind of Rusic. I have to give props to Jimbo for being an excellent seamstress among this group of people. I didn't love what Roxy did in the original episode, nor did I love what Mick did. However, surprisingly, I loved Nina's outfit. It wasn't that grand, but for Nina, who I was not expecting to do well, she turned it out on that runway. I think Heidi would be really cute too, and it would be hard not giving her a win in this episode. In episode 9, Rosemary's Baby Shower, the Rusical, I think the top 2 are very clearly Alyssa and Candy for being scene stealers. I think they would be so funny in this particular Rusical, and I could see them winning. And the winners did get to give away a badge. I see Candy giving it to her season sister, Mick. I could see her giving it to Jimbo since they have an alliance, and I could see her giving it to Heidi since they might have an alliance too and a friendship. But I see it more likely that she would give it to Mick, considering that Mick started to really lose steam by this point in the competition. And I feel like Candy would want to encourage her and help her feel a little bit better. Alyssa, I completely see giving a badge to Roxy. They were on the same season together, and I think maybe their chemistry would be pretty strong here. Episode 10 is the Lip Sync Lollapalooza Smackdown. I think the best lip syncers in this bunch are Alyssa, Latrice, and Roxy. This would be a fun one to watch, but I think ultimately it would come down to season 5, with Alyssa and Roxy being the top 2. And then episode 11 and 12, which I'm clumping together because it was so unnecessary to give us that fluff episode 11 episode. In my opinion, Nina was the best in this challenge. I loved what she did. It was a slayer version of what Mrs. Kasha Davis did in All Stars 8. And I thought it was catchy and cute. So she's getting 3 badges for this challenge. And even though the double diamond twist was stupid in my opinion, Nina is still getting it, putting her at the very top of the competition. And in this group, Angeria also gets 3 because I think that of everyone that is here, she would have the better talent show for a finale. And that means that the top 2 of the entire season that will lip sync for the crown are going to be Angeria and Nina. Technically, Jimbo also has a butt ton of badges, but is tied with Roxy. So I don't feel like doing a tiebreaker here and figuring out who would be the other top 3er. Let's leave it at a top 2 and be consistent with other All-Star seasons. And of these top 2, I am going to crown Angeria as my winner of the charity season. And with that, that has been All Stars 9, a season that I really hated. And I'm sure that that came through in the edit because I just wanted to get it out of the way. Thank you so much for all of the love on the original video. I hope that this series of videos matched expectations for what you were hoping for. And if it didn't, I wasn't even going to make these, so y'all can't be mad at me. I had a lot of requests to do these, and a lot of people seemed excited to see how I would judge these seasons. I think these would go very, very, very differently if RuPaul had her hands on them. I think that different queens would have made it to the end. I think that different lip sync songs would have been assigned for these particular casts. I think that a lot of things would have gone drastically different to make narratives stick. If we're all being completely honest and realistic with ourselves, All Stars 1 was made for Chad to win. All Stars 2 was made for Alaska to win. I think All Stars 3, having a much more dynamic cast, could have panned out for Valentina being the winner. But I could also see it going to Trixie at the last minute with that jury trick. With this cast of season 4, I think it would be very hard not to crown Shea. With this cast of All Stars 5, I see it very likely going to Ms. Cracker, even though, in my opinion, Jujubee and Naomi would deserve it more than her. I could also see Ginger going very far in this group if Ru had her hands on it. For All-Star 6, I don't think there's a reality where Kylie didn't win that season. Kylie had so much to prove and really came in guns a-blazing. And in that finale, I think she earned it. But I don't think it was set up or planned for her to win like it was for many other All-Stars winners. For this All-Stars 8, I don't think Ru likes any of these girls, so it very likely would have been James and Lala at the end, with a very clear excuse to not crown James, and Lala would take the win. And then for season 9, if RuPaul had her mitts on this, it 100% would go to Jimbo. Jimbo would win every single challenge, as they would probably all be comedy and improv. And I think a lot of the design challenges that helped fluff Roxy to the end would have been scrapped. And that is some of my last minute bootleg opinions. I hope you enjoyed this entire series. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all on the flip. This was the longest recording day that I have had in years. This was so long. I think I've got like 4 hours of content to edit. So I'm gonna try and get these out as quickly as possible. And hopefully by the time y'all see these, it didn't take me that long. See you next time, y'all. And again, thank you for all the love and support on all of these videos. See you on the flip. Hey, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to click that like button. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe. Goodbye.